Like,
Well,
to curse all of us and then
mhm.
say, oh, but I'm such a good God because I gave you the opportunity to be uncursed. Well,
well, I mean, like,
cursing
well,
us in
then
the
you,
first place.
well, I mean, okay, so I think two things. First, we have to go away from this misunderstanding of,
She hit the nail right on the head. Just because God gives you a plan of escape doesn't mean that it was fair for you to be locked up in the first place.
God.
Word up, this is Sage, and we are going to jump into another reaction video. This time it's from the channel Leaving Faith with Sarah, and she does a lot of call ins on her show, on her live stream. She's done a lot of debates and things like that. She is a person, an individual who studied the Bible and has some education behind her as well on the Bible and other areas. So we're going to jump right into this. Sarah has also been on debate shows, on other live shows like The Line, and on DZ Debates with Justin. She was a co host on there too. Now we're going to look at this video. This is more about God and how He designed everything. And the title of the video is actually, Did God Really Design Everything, Including Consequences? So she's talking to another person on her show who called in, and we'll see how this goes.
So it was just, again, I'm just trying to understand so we can have an honest conversation. I think there was, in the last conversation I was listening, there was a bit of a misunderstanding of the foundation of what it is that we kind of believe is, and I think when that conversation, what I was hearing was that God created us sinful, and I think that's not true. Is that something that you believe?
So, yeah, I mean, this is where Christians disagree with each other. So, the woman who was
Correct.
up previously, she was Orthodox.
Right.
What is your denomination or affiliation?
I'm non-denominational.
Gotcha. Okay.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I mean, even such a basic teaching varies from denomination to denomination.
Hmm.
The religion that I grew up in, I did believe that we had a sinful nature that we inherited from Adam's sin.
May I ask what denomination that was?
So I just say Protestant because I was part of a couple different ones, but I grew up in a Presbyterian church. I
Hmm.
also was part of a non-denominational church for a while too.
So, yeah, in most churches, especially non denominational, they believe that God created everything and that the Adam and Eve, the first humans, when they committed sin against God, when they ate the apple, they ended up, I guess, sinful and supposedly died, but they didn't die immediately. But it's dependent on your interpretation. And so God created a punishment for sin, which is hell, for all eternity, and that's part of the story there. Sin is punished with the eternal fire, but we'll jump into it a little bit more.
And do they teach that? Because again, I'm just trying to get some background. Did they teach that human beings were sinful from like the very beginning? Like as soon as we were created by God, we just had sin?
So the teaching was that we had a sinful nature,
Hmm.
but that like the infants themselves had not sinned yet.
I see.
So
Okay.
yeah, so it was like you are born with the propensity to sin,
Correct. Okay.
but not that you were born sinning.
Yeah. So I what I tend to do when I'm even talking to fellow Christians is I always try to bring it back to scripture because that just cuts through the line of any denomination. And so I think what I would point to is the kind of creation stories starting from Genesis 1 and then the eventual creation of humanity itself, it said that we were created blameless and unashamed, meaning that we were perfect alignment with God. So basically, we were created without sin. Now, that kind of propensity to sin that we're talking about, kind of like what you were taught in the Protestant, right? Did I remember that? Okay, Protestant, is choosing, because love by definition can't be forced. If God said, you have no choice but to love me, that wouldn't be love.
Well, actually, that's what he does. You have no choice. He's not looking at this correctly, because God says that if you don't get in a relationship with me, then you'll suffer the consequences. You'll be punished for not loving him. And that's not love. That's not a demonstration of love. A demonstration of love and being caring and compassionate is to say, it's okay if you don't want to be with me in a relationship. I mean, the way that we handle things down here, if somebody says that they don't want to be in a relationship with me, I just say, okay, just let it go. You don't punish them for it. God is not actually giving us freedom to do what we want, because he actually encroaches on our freedom if we don't do what he says.
If I even just locked you in your basement and said, you have no choice but to love me, that's not love, because love by definition demands choice, just like I think you've mentioned in a couple conversations before. So love by definition demands a choice. So we have a choice to continue to walk with God in that blameless lifestyle, that holy lifestyle, that perfect alignment that we had. Again, where sin came into play was when we decided to not keep in alignment with God, not keep in step with God, and choose to go our own way, choose to walk away from God. That is where
are you talking about each of us individually now, or are you speaking about like Adam?
I'm speaking from the beginning. So this is where sin is entered. Now,
yeah, I know. Yes, so I got the story. Yeah.
Right. So now, as for the propensity for us to sin, like you said, and I'm sure you know this already, I'm speaking so we can kind of follow the train of logic, is because Adam and Eve walked away from sin, we also inherit that sin. So now I can see why, it seems very unfair to quote unquote deserve something that we never really had it.
And it is unfair, because it's like you're being punished by somebody else's rebellion. You're paying for those sins. It's being passed down onto you. It's being inherited to you. And that's unfair. You should be judged by your own mistakes. And it's like somebody accruing a debt, and then all of a sudden you become responsible for it. You're paying somebody else's loan. You're paying for somebody else's debt. And that's unfair. It really is. And what he could do is set it up to where everyone is born in the middle. Like everyone is born with no sin. They start off fresh, and everyone starts in the Garden of Eden, each individual. And then he can judge us after that if we do something that we're not supposed to do.
It seems like we never had a choice in. But the choice is now still in our hands, because what God has done through Jesus Christ in atoning for our sins is now he gives us the gift from saving us from that hellfire.
Yeah, so I can't get on board with that, because what you're saying is that God decided that the punishment for Adam and Eve's choice is going to be to make sin inheritable.
I'm sorry. Go ahead. Yeah. Let me finish.
Yeah, that's not going to solve anything. Even if you have a plan to save the person. Like, for instance, well, we're going to put the debt on you, but we have a payment plan, an affordable payment plan. That doesn't make it right. It's not your debt. It's not your debt to pay. It's very unfair. It's unjust. And the Bible speaks two different sides of this. At first it says we inherit Adam and Eve's sin. But on the other hand, it says nobody should pay for their mother and father's sins. Like the sins of the father should not be passed on to their sons and daughters. So the Bible contradicts itself. But yeah, it's still unfair. Even if you make a payment plan, you shouldn't even be on the payment plan because the debt wasn't even yours to begin with.
I'm referring to the propensity to sin.
Correct,
so
yes.
The propensity to sin, inheritable. That is inherently unfair on its own. And the idea that we can't like opt in or opt out of that, like we just, all of us automatically get it. And then it's up to us to opt out of it is unfair. Like, to curse all of us and then say, oh, but I'm such a good God because I gave you the opportunity to be uncursed.
Well, I mean, like, well, then
in the first place.
Well, I mean, okay, so I think two things. First, we have to go away from this misunderstanding of.
She hit the nail right on the head. Just because God gives you a plan of escape doesn't mean that it was fair for you to be locked up in the first place.
God creating hell for us. He didn't create it for us. He created it for the devil and his angels.
Did he know that humans would go there?
He knows that. But again, Jesus Christ, through what he did, atones for the sins of all past, present, and future.
Well, but you don't get to say that God didn't create it for us, because if God knew as he created hell that humans would go there, then he did create it for us.
Well, then you would also have to acknowledge that if he is omnipotent and created all things and knew all things, the very moment he knew that, those people would go there is also the very same moment he made an opportunity for us to not to go there.
Yeah, that doesn't make it better.
Yeah, none of that makes it better. It doesn't make it fair. It doesn't even make it moral. This isn't even moral. My conscience cannot line up with this. You got to really think about this. And God did design this whole thing. He designed the consequence. He designed heaven, and he also supposedly had, angels who he created with the propensity to change their mind or do something opposite of his desires. He had to have that program within his creation. He had to have that already in there with the potential of disobeying him. So he is responsible. Imagine somebody designing a robot. He designs it, he programs it to do good for humanity. So he designs it to go out and help us and assist us in everyday task. But he put in there also with the ability to commit harm in the program. So most of the time it does something good, and then he, puts it out there into the public. Now, does he get the credit if it goes out and saves 5 kids from a burning building or a burning house? Yeah, the person who made the robot will deserve the credit for that saving. But he also should deserve the credit if the robot decided to take out 5 people at a mall. He also deserves the credit for that. You gotta be logical here. So he's responsible if the robot assists people and save people from cars, drive an old lady to her appointments. But he also is responsible for when the robot harms people.
By giving us a choice to not go there?
Because we start condemned. We don't start in a neutral place. So we don't have to start condemned. He could have started everyone in a neutral place.
Well, then he would have to take away your free will to do that.
Did Adam and Eve have free will?
He doesn't have to take away free will. If Adam and Eve have free will, he is able to create each human being back in the garden and starting fresh and start in a neutral spot. This doesn't take away anything. if you believe that Adam and Eve had free will.
Yeah, they did.
So, right, that they started in a neutral place because Adam and Eve did not have a sinful nature and they got to see God and walk with God.
Right. Well, what I'm saying is,
but you're not understanding what I'm saying here is that humans now, we are born with this inherent curse or handicap or problem.
Right.
That's unfair no matter what else God does. He could have started every new human in a new garden, and he could have walked with every new human and given them the same opportunity that he gave Adam and Eve.
But again,
yep, she is exactly right. When you really think about it, that would be the fair thing to do. But sometimes people just cannot grasp what we're saying here is that he can start us all fresh instead of inheriting us with the ailments of another person. He has the power. If you enjoyed this video, remember to subscribe to Sarah's channel, Leaving Faith, if you're interested in her content and you enjoy her content. And also like, subscribe, and comment on my channel. Make sure to subscribe and really think about these things. Ask the question, did God design everything, including the consequences? Remember, I'll have the link in the description below for the original video. Make sure to check out the full discussion. What do you think about this? I'll see you guys later. Peace.